XRP is climbing as ETF inflows and price are surging this week, but rising price also brings rising noise. Today's stream, I'm going to break down what the ETF data is actually telling us and why the current pullback is actually healthy. We should expect these kinds of pullbacks. We need it to clear out the noise so we have a healthy reset in order to move up on the next leg. It's not weakness. But I want to talk about search interest, hype dynamics, and why utility and real use case matters the most, especially right now more than ever. This is a signal versus noise breakdown. If you're here for the long view, let's go ahead and hop into it. And again, engage in the chat. If you're coming into the stream, I appreciate every single one of you. Let me get my chat bar pulled up. For some reason, it's not showing up today. But there we go. Now we will hop into the stream. Let me get the price going for everyone here and let's get everything started. Price has pulled back on us, unfortunately. But I want to talk about why this is actually a healthy pullback. And hello, William. Welcome to the stream. I see you all coming in. And this pullback is to be expected. We talked about retesting 220, and that's exactly where we're at. So now is decision time. This is what's important. If we can hold 220, and then we can continue the next leg. But I want to take an important note here. Look what RSI has done during this time. This is why this is healthy, okay? We were in overbought territory for a very long time. Again, this is the 1 hour chart. We always use the 1 hour chart for analysis, primarily on my channel. So we were in overbought territory for a very long time, obviously yesterday and a little bit before that. But again, you can see if we go back in the chart, we've been up here for a long time. This has been a very long, strong move for XRP. We needed to clear out this buying pressure and this selling pressure. And in this short amount of time, from what, roughly 239 to 220, and that 19-cent move, we've completely cleared out all that pressure. So now we're back here at the bottom and we can start making the next move up. Look again where we were last time. We were at this level of RSI. It was way over here at a price of 184. So if we can hold this 220 level and we've cleared out all this pressure, we are ready for the next move up. So 220 is the deciding market. So some of you will see a $37 tag in the bottom right corner. We're going to get to that later. I'll show you where that comes from. Again, not financial advice. Nothing in my stream is ever financial advice. We are here for the long view. We are here for what's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But I do like to show you guys some fun tidbits when our analysis lines up with some crazy numbers sometimes. So back into the chart. So RSI has cooled all the way off. We're testing 220 just like we talked about yesterday. And it looks like we're trying to make that push up. So what we want to look at is we want to see this come up. Remember our EMA 9, our blue line. We want to see us flip EMA 9 and it'll probably test it again. And then boom, hopefully we get that next leg. Now, let's talk about what's going on in the overall crypto market. Actually, let me take it back 1 second. Let's go ahead and look at the 1 week chart because we were talking about that yesterday. We talked about how the 1 week chart has plenty of room for growth. Well, we just cleared out the 1 hour chart and we've pulled back on the 1 week chart. We have blown through EMA 9 on the 1 week chart. And when we just did this pullback to 220, it holds us above it. Again, analysis stacking on top of each other. This is a good thing. Lines up with our ETF math model on top of this, which we're going to cover here in a little bit as we talk about what ETFs actually did yesterday. And I see you all coming in the chat. As you come in, if you didn't tell me yesterday, because not everyone did, let me know where you're from as you're coming in the chat. And again, any questions, comments, thoughts, opinions, let me know what you think is going to happen. Let me know in chat. We'll do a live Q&A where we go through the whole chat at the end of the stream. So price is at 222. We already tested 220 and now we're trying to rise back above. And look, if you like angel numbers, 2222. So we are trying to push back above. The entire crypto market is doing extremely well for the week. Everyone's down today, or at least in the last 24 hours, right? This shows the last 24 hours. So in the last 24 hours, everyone's doing good. Last 24 hours, XRP is still up 18%. Polygon's up 21%. Pepe doing 56%. Everyone's doing well. Today, everyone's down. Now, when you're looking at the day, when you're looking at the last 24 hours, it's important to note little things like this. Bitcoin's down 2.7% while XRP's up almost 1%. This is not a decoupling. You're going to see videos and hype videos and stuff talking about this and the separations. It's important to put things in context. If you take things out of context, you can tell yourself whatever story you want. So beware of decoupling videos right now. You can line up the time frames however you like. We're not quite there yet. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but let's look at what's actually happening with the ETFs. So yesterday, our totals were as follows. Franklin Templeton was at 123 million. Let's see if they added anything into trust yesterday. They added 5 million into trust. They are up to 128 million now. So let's go to Grayscale. So there goes 5 million XRP locked away. Let's see what Grayscale has to say. 122, and they're still at 122. So nothing for Grayscale. Canary Capital was at 175, and they're at 178. So 3 million added by Canary Capital. See what Bitwise had to do. They were at 132 and they're at 139. So additional 7 million added by Bitwise. Are we keeping track? That's what, 8 plus 7 is 15 million. And 21 shares was at 136 and they're at 139. So they added 3. So an additional 18 million yesterday locked into ETF trusts. Again, this is accelerating. We're looking for that next leg of our math model, right? Our math model. We need to see 700 to 1.3 billion XRP removed for our next 20 to 40% leg. We just got a 20% leg right now. Who knows if that's actually done? That was from our first 5 to 10% depletion, right? So if you look at the math model, you see over here, key insight, 5 to 10% depletion causes repricing. So every 250 to 500 million XRP that is removed should trigger, based on this model, a 20 to 40% repricing. That is why we created the math model. And you line that up with our technical analysis, it seems to be stacking on top of each other. That's why we get excited. So when we're talking about technical analysis, I just went through all of the ETFs, but when we're talking about technical analysis, I can't talk for some reason, I came across this. So Steph is Crypto. He's someone that I watch every once in a while. I retweeted one of his things here. I don't think I bookmarked it, but I watch his analysis. It's a little bit different. It's someone you can follow. It's a little bit hypey, but he did do, where was it? That wasn't what he compared what XRP was doing to gold. And I thought it was extremely interesting because I'm all about pattern recognition. That's what I do. Here it is. This is the one I was looking for. So if you look at the pattern and the four, the 5 legs, 4 leg, well, the 4 printed legs, and then the 5th leg, it's following exactly what gold did as far as the repricing of an asset. I find that to be interesting for one reason and one reason only, because it started getting moved into the U.S. infrastructure, right? We talked about the CFTC, I think CFTC exchange, whichever one it was. That they got all of my stroke brain is messing with me right now. I got the data somewhere, but they got all the same rights as gold mixed into it. So it's tracking just like gold right now anyway. So I thought that was very interesting. We did break out of this wedge. So if we do get the 5th leg in reaction to this, we should see it climb to $37. Now, that's a potential possibility. We're not banking on this. This is for fun. We are here for the long view. But I do want you guys to see what the potential of a chart like this would be, a breakout like this would be. We've seen similar moves in the past. So we can't rule it off the table, right? We're not going to get rid of it. We're not going to say it's impossible, because it is possible. However, very unlikely. We are here for the long view. What's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? But if a breakout does happen, it will be fast, and we have context and what to compare it to, so we can expect what that level might be as well. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. But like I said, I was hoping, if you guys were in the stream yesterday, I was expecting us to get and test $3 this month. So we bounced off the 220 level today, and we're already back up to 224. So we hit 220 right at the beginning of the stream, right as I was calling out the level that we brought up yesterday, the 220 support. We've bounced off it and we're continuing up. We're currently at 223.9 and on the rise back up. If we look at it on the 1 hour chart, You can see here the volume was decreasing after this. This was profit taking. That's all this was. They're clearing out late longs, profit taking. We've got RSI all the way back down to the bottom now, and we have room for the next leg up. So next test, we need to get past 235, right? So we need to get past 235 and hold it. If we do that, it opens us up to check 270. Again, we break 270. That takes us up to the 290 to 320 area, which is where we've had the most amount of selling this year. That will be the biggest test to confirm a breakout. So again, clear 235, clear 270, clear 320, and then we have potential movement, price discovery. Again, not financial advice, but that is how it will work. Those are how the steps will go. And you can track it throughout the weeks. Because again, these moves on the 1 week chart, these moves took weeks, okay? They look fast and furious, right? But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, okay? So we'll see it play out in time, especially as we watch it every day together. So moving beyond that, there was a little bit of news, right? We covered this yesterday. I forgot to clear it off there. And we covered this yesterday, but we covered the fear and greed index. Now we're up to a 52. This is a far cry from where we were in December when we were at a 4 and a 6. But again, our price was terrible. So that's why we were saying the entire time, when fear is at an absolute low, usually that is the best time to buy. So if we were purchasing in December, we're really happy right about now, right? I mean, that's kind of the idea. XRP ETFs hit record volumes as RLUSD expands and price jumps 30%. So this was from Coinpedia. We did have a 30% rally. In the end, it ended up actually being like 30.8% when it hit its top. So far, we've had a 30.8% rally and about, 7-8% pullback. But the funny thing about it is, again, I told you guys that this was going to be happening a lot now. They're starting to report on all the stuff that we've reported on weeks ago, months ago, and they're trying to attach it to price. So when we're looking at these news announcements, it's getting priced in from stuff we already reported on last month, the month before. This one, they're talking about it being attached. They're talking about the increase in price being attached to ETF activity and updates from RLUSD with Wormhole. We talked about Wormhole 3 weeks ago. What the hell does that have to do with the 20-30% pump today, right? That's why we get in early. When I was giving all those news videos every single day as stuff was happening left and right, all I heard was, what about price? And we said in stream together, we know that months from now when price starts to go up, it's because of this stuff today, okay? We are early. This is the infancy stage. Now, when we're talking about crypto, it's really important to understand at the beginning of a cycle, it's going to raise all boats, right? Everything's going to go up. Still following Bitcoin. We have not decoupled from Bitcoin. That's going to look like two things moving in opposite directions. We haven't gotten there yet. But as money and liquidity is coming into crypto right now, we're getting some more euphoria. We're seeing the fear and greed index go up. So as this money comes into crypto, everything's going to rise. We're going to get clarity. We're going to get adoption. We're going to get utility. We're going to get news, right? Money is going to be jumping in. All of these good things are going to happen. Meme coins are going to do well. All the altcoins will probably do well at first, okay? But then you'll start to see a separation as it becomes more about utility, adoption, and what has real institutional backing. There's going to be a lot of videos. Lots of videos about this coin, that coin, this coin, that coin. Do your own research. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. If you're here watching XRP videos, that means you've probably seen how this goes and you've got burned once or twice before. But if you're finding me for the first time, my channel is about the long view. We're here for what's going to happen in this crypto space over the next 10 years so we can set ourselves up and our families up. But that's enough of my preaching. Let's go ahead and hop into the chat. I appreciate everyone for being here today. Let's see what everyone has to say. William was the first one in here today. Appreciate you, William. Actually, let me move the chat over here so I'm looking at the camera while I'm talking to you guys. Let's see here. So William made it in the house today. Let me make it a little bit bigger so my old eyes can read it. Hang on. Man, I'm getting old. What is happening with this thing? Here we go. All right, so William's in here. Some great gains for everyone in stocks and crypto, etc. Yes, people are making money today. When number goes up, everyone's happy because everyone's making money. But when the number goes down, that's when that's really the chance to make money, because that's when you get the chance to accumulate at a cheaper price. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. Yeshua said hello to everyone. What is the difference in buying a spot ETF or just buying an XRP coin? So if you buy an ETF, buy a spot ETF share, usually that share has multiple XRP. It usually represents 5, 10, 15, whatever. That's why the prices are higher than the price of an XRP. And that is going to follow XRP. So as XRP goes up and down, that ETF share will go up and down based on the price. So if it's holding 11 XRP, it's going to go up and down like the price of 11 XRP would, minus or plus fees. So as you invest in the ETF, you still have to pay fees, you still have to pay a spread. So the only difference is, and the other thing is too, you are not custodying that crypto. You don't hold the keys to that crypto. So technically, it's not yours. You can't take it with you, spend it on something else. You have to sell the ETF for whatever they will sell it out or cash it out in. So whereas if you're holding XRP, if I wanted to, I could wrap it in Flare and deploy it on the Flare network and earn DeFi, right? And earn yield that way. You can't do that with an ETF. So there's more things you can do holding the individual token, but you are at risk in the sense you take responsibility for custodying that asset. When you purchase an ETF share, you're not custodying the asset. That's why you don't have the keys. But so it's a risk reward. If you hold the keys, it's technically yours and you can deploy it in DeFi and make yield off of it. If you buy an ETF, you own an ETF share. You don't own XRP. That's the biggest difference. Kevin Hawthorne said, good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. Welcome, Kevin. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you being here. Williams said, even at 220, still such a great price to buy. In the grand scheme of things, I completely agree with you, William. I mean, again, but we talk about dollar cost averaging. We're not targeting tops and bottoms. We're here for the long haul. We're here for what we're going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Raul hopped in. Good afternoon, Raul. And William said, honestly, considering how much we think XRP will get to anything under $5 to $10 isn't bad at all. Yeah, I mean, if it in 5 to 10 years, if XRP is $100 or $1,000 or whatever price you want to put in there, no one's going to really care if they bought it at $3 or $5 or $2. If you got it beneath $10, you'll be happy about it. You'll be happy with your gains. Well, it is crypto. Some people think a 10x is nothing. So I guess if you get it at $10 and it appreciates to 100, some people will be dissatisfied because apparently a 10x in crypto is trash. So I've been told. Many times people have told me that. William Bonnie said Silver Spring, Maryland. Welcome. Okay. Silver Spring, Maryland for William. Appreciate it. Brad Dixon from Dallas, Fort Worth. King Kong from Aurora, Colorado. Been there once. It's beautiful. Lisa Burton from the UK. Welcome, Lisa. I'm just waiting for $5. Have been waiting for the last 4 years. I think we've been waiting for $5 since the inception of XRP. I mean, a lot of people have. I mean, no one here has seen a $5 XRP. How about we're waiting for new all-time highs? Let's start with new all-time highs and see what happens from that point, right? Todd Madison said, yeah, I just put on a short in futures after it broke 227 and we'll probably write it down 217. Not financial advice, education only. There you go, Todd. So Todd's playing a short on the pullback. And again, if you want to day trade and do those things, you absolutely can. Again, none of it's financial advice. Do your own research. I'm not telling anyone to invest or day trade or do any of those things, but I just like to point out what I see so we have an understanding of how the price is going to move when we're getting hit and bombarded with this hype from every single direction on what's going to happen with price or why it's going to be this or why it's going to be that. Lisa said $5 clears my mortgage, leaves me a traveling fund, and I'm off for some sunshine. Hey, everyone has their own exit plan that works for them. I'm personally not selling mine because I think it's going to go higher than $5. But again, Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's plan is different. It's coming 589 says good evening from London. I got quite a few guys, quite a few people from London. I don't want to say guys, men, women, everyone, people. But yeah, I have quite a few people from England. It's great to see you. It's really one of the places I want to travel. Quelly said, hi, in years when XRP is worth thousands, assume I want to redeem for any reason. But at that point, the dollar is devalued. Can I redeem in other currencies? How would that work? Absolutely, you can. That's one of the beautiful things of it being a bridge asset. So here in the near future, I believe, again, not financial advice, but the way I believe this is going to work, once we start getting more stable coins, right, and more real world assets on Ledger, that's why we've been saying XRP isn't being used that much, because the real digital landscape is not that big. You have like what, a few stable coins, 10 stable coins, and then you have, the world of crypto, right? But as far as actual transactioned currency that the world is using, it's not on chain, right? We have USD. That's about it. We don't, we're waiting for a euro on the XRPL. We're waiting for a yen on the XRPL. We're waiting for a peso, a franc, whatever currency. They need to all come on Ledger. And then once they all come on Ledger, you can swap back and forth between anything with XRP. That is its purpose. That is its function. And that's why I say we are at the infancy of this stage, right? And I just oversimplified XRP's function and purpose, but really it is to swap value, right? It's a bridge currency. Its purpose is to be a bridge. So it needs value on Ledger to switch between. Right now, we just have US dollar. There's nothing to switch between. We need retail. We need tokenized stocks, bonds, real estate. We need gold, silver. I mean, imagine if they tokenize gold on Ledger. Okay? Like, we are in the infancy stage of this. So we have years to go, in my opinion, not financial advice. That's why I get so excited about it, because we've been talking about it for years now, but it's just start getting used. Like, we were so ridiculously early to crypto. It's ridiculous. My opinion. Let's see here. So that was to Quelly. Yes. So I believe you'll be able to switch it out for other currencies once they're on Ledger. I mean, right now you can switch it out for, stocks and bonds and stuff like that within different apps or other cryptocurrencies. You can just switch to Ethereum or, Bitcoin or whatever through different dexes. But right now, everything's still pegged to the dollar, but there will be more currencies on Ledger in the future. Let's see here. Do you have snow in London yet? Lisa asked. Okay, so they're talking about England. Let's see here. They says -7 this morning. Gross. I live in Kansas City. We get cold weather too. Don't get me wrong. We get winters and everything else. But right now it's 67 degrees. 67 degrees in Kansas City. I am not mad at all. Let's see, $37 we can wish. Yeah, I really, really hope we get to $37. But we're going to, in my opinion, we will eventually. It's not going to be, immediately, but I wanted to show you guys when we're getting these predictions, I don't want to completely rule out the possibility because of the way XRP moves. You know what I mean? It moves fast. It doesn't move in little increments. It chops longer and it moves faster. So if I am going to caution you guys and, talk to you guys about the lower levels and the 220 and the actual technical analysis of getting through everything, I want to show you what the realistic possibilities could be. I have to show you both sides. It's only fair. Yes, we know XRP is going down at the moment. Let's see, what's it down to now? Oh, no, it's back up to 224 now. So I'm just late in the chat, if you will. Where'd my chat just go? I just lost it. We're late in the chat, but it is heading back up now. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Now I go. So Lisa Burton says anything over 5 will make her happy. It's coming says I won't even consider selling a single XRP till at least €100, even if it takes 15 years. Everyone's got their way. I don't plan on selling any of mine. I said the only reason I would sell any is if we had like a massive overnight appreciation, I might sell some. Just because if you have like a ridiculously massive, like at that point, we don't know what's going to happen. It could be an economic based thing. There could be a million reasons. If we did get a sharp spike overnight, I'm going to sell some because I want to have cash on hand because that's probably an emergency situation. You know what I mean? For some reason, it's an emergency situation if we reach that kind of level instantly. So, my opinion, not financial advice. Everyone has their own plan. Um, Let's see. Lisa said, no, life's too short to wait for €100. Anything over $5 will actually change my life. And really, it's truthfully, and this is why it's so important. And I'm so glad you guys are talking like this in the chat. It's so important to understand value. Everyone's value for things is different. So what someone may find not particularly valuable, to me, I am perfectly content with a very small house with a little piece of land, not much upkeep to have, but I have all of my time and it's in an environment that I enjoy. Like I don't need a ton of nice things. To me, my time is more precious than anything. So everyone has their own way. So what I've been trying to build is cash flow, potential. So I don't have to work. So I can tell a boss F you and I can do what I want all day, every day. And my family's taken care of. Your time is the number one most valuable commodity in this world. You will never get more of it. So thank you for taking your time to be here with me today. I appreciate every single one of you. Mr. Johnny said, do companies lock in all money XRP in ETFs or just a portion every time? Do companies lock in all money XRP in ETFs? So I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but I'm going to answer it the best way I can, Johnny. So when ETFs get inflows, right, and shares are purchased, so they share. How do I put this? They purchase shares within the ETF wrapper. So they'll say they go out and buy 10 million XRP. I'm just going to use even numbers, okay? So say they go out and they buy 10 million XRP, and each share holds 10 XRP, so they're going to create 1 million new shares. So then they have their volume back and forth, buying and selling, buying and selling. And once they consume all those shares, right, when there's enough volume that buys all those shares, now they have to go buy more XRP to create more shares. So it's not like necessarily a direct like money comes in, XRP comes out. It's like they have to buy and purchase within. They just have to have enough XRP on hand to cover the amount of shares that they're selling. So they buy it in chunks. And then when new orders get created, then they have to buy more. Does that make sense? Hopefully that answers. So it's not a direct flow. It goes in stages depending on how much they front run it, because they have to hold enough XRP to convert 1-to-1 with their shares. Let's see. Sir Charles is in the house. Jabez is in the house. He was calling out XRP going down, but it is on the way back up now, or at least last time we looked at it. You guys are blowing up the chat. I appreciate it. Keep the chat rolling. We will keep going. Let's see here. Mr. Johnny said 42 million inflows on ETFs, only 3.5 hours in trading today. The institutional demand for XRP is ridiculous. And we talked about it as we were going through the ETF flows at the end of the year when price was going down. We kept pointing out that inflows are still happening, even though price is going down, that inflows and price are not directly correlated, right? So ETF inflows and price of the ETF and price of XRP are not directly correlated. So now that we're entering into a more bullish market for crypto, which we can clearly see, obviously, but now as we're entering into a more bullish market for crypto, we're seeing even more money come in and it's ramping up faster and faster. So all the things that we have talked about for the last 3 months are now coming to light now that the market sentiment has shifted. Okay. But again, we're still market sentiment. It's not adoption utility. That's not what's driving this. It is market sentiment. So we have to play by market structure. Let's see. Miss Wendy said hi. Hi, Miss Wendy. Good to see you. Kenny Stallone said, New York in the house. ETFs are great with my Vanguard 401 account. Absolutely did not over leverage, but I'm happy with my results. Good for you. Absolutely. And now that people are starting to be able to put their 401ks and their IRAs and all that stuff, people are finally starting to get access to that. We're going to see even more money come in. It's going to be a great thing. But I thought Vanguard wasn't allowing their people to do that until like Q1. Is it available within your online account now for you to actually select it? I thought they weren't going to start opening that up until the end of Q1 with Vanguard. Mr. Johnny said, I think at $5 I will exit 30% of my bag to break even, but I will leave the other 60% for the long run, 10 years. Okay. So that's taking profits and creating a moon bag. The point is, the important thing is regardless of what you decide to do, no one can tell you what to do. It's what's right for you in your life. Okay. So regardless of which way you do it, the best way to do it is to have a plan in advance, because when things start happening, emotion, right? Number starts going up. We get excited. Oh, maybe I'll hold, maybe I won't sell. Maybe you got to pull emotion out of it. If you're going to set a plan for yourself, write it down, make that sucker concrete. That's how you protect yourself. Again, not financial advice, but if you're going to make a plan, then make a plan. That's the best way to do it. Gilbert says, is it true that for every XRP transaction, the tokens are gone forever? If so, then at some point will XRP disappear? So the burn rate for XRP is every transaction 0.0002 XRP is burned. Okay. So the more they use it, the faster it will burn, but it's not a 1-for-1 XRP burn rate. If you use it, it's gone. It's not going to impact our lifetime. It won't. The burn rate is not going to be an impact in our lifetime. If XRP goes on to become a global financial asset and lasts for generations, then yes, the burn rate will start to have an effect. But I don't think we're going to see that in our lifetime. Not financial advice. Mr. Johnny says it's -4 in Ireland today. My gosh, you guys have it cold, and I'm sitting here in my 67-degree weather in Kansas City. Gunpowder said silver is back to $82. Will you include silver in your channel? I could. I mean, I do hold silver. I've been thinking about, so it's difficult, Gunpowder. So I've been thinking about branching out, and casting a wider net as far as like what I actually do. As far as the different assets I hold and my whole philosophy, and moving away from just XRP. But the way YouTube is it's so centric on one topic, on one niche, that if you actually broaden yourself too much, if you make too broad of content, then it punishes you and you don't get shown to. It's harder to determine your target audience, so you have to pick a very specific niche. But as the channel grows and as I widen out and as the audience grows, I can do that more and more. So I think it'll be a gradual thing, to answer your question, Gunpowder, because I would like to bring in other assets. I would like to talk about silver, and I would like to talk about the debasement trade, right? I would like to talk about how our fiat currency is trash and is going away. We've devalued it 99%. I would like to talk to you guys about different things that can help you, like LLCs and life insurance, and not to fall for the scams of people trying to sell them to you online, but how to actually use them, so that you can protect yourself and use insurance as an asset, not as a punishment. These are all things that you can learn to do to make your life so much easier. So much easier, and save you so much money in the long run. So I would like to spread out and do that, but I don't think the channel is quite at the place it needs to be yet, as far as its growth, for me to get away with it without taking a step backwards. Hopefully that answers your question, Gunpowder. Sir Charles said, excellent mindset. Yeah, I mean, mindset is key. Mindset is key. I mean, that's all there is to it. Yeshua says, do you believe that XRP, the chosen coin, the JWK show, shows all these riddles on his show as basically saying it's the chosen coin? I do not believe in that, Yeshua. I'm sorry. I don't want to sit here and say it's the chosen coin. I look at facts, figures, numbers, logic. I like to present what we can prove. Okay, I'm not going to take away from anyone's faith at all, because we're not talking about faith. We're talking about the markets, right? We have tangible data for years and years and years and years and years. Okay, that shows us how these things are going to work. Okay. So essentially, I mean, it'd be like someone's following the Bible, but telling you the end of the Bible is going to have a different ending than what you're expecting. Okay. Based on all the data that you've accumulated in the Bible. So we have to look at all the data in the market. I separate it and I try to make it as emotionless as possible. And that's how I do that, Yeshua. So I'm not going to discredit or discount anyone else's theories or opinions, but that's how I come to mine. And that's why I come to it that way. John Beal says, can I smart contract some XRP to get a short-term yield? It is possible on the Flare network, and I know they are actually opening up staking options directly on the XRPL. I'm not 100% sure how to achieve that yet. But you can actually and it's actually going to become available with the WXRP, right, with Hex Trust on Solana, Ethereum, Hyperliquid, and Optimism, I think was the other chain. So they are coming online, and you can, as I know now, you can wrap on Flare, but I'm waiting for it to be a little bit simpler and a little bit safer. I'm waiting for that, that great day where we get one-click DeFi, where you can just, deploy, pick your asset and deploy it. It makes it easy for old people like me who don't want to jump through too many hoops, but you certainly can. I have wrapped some XRP and deployed it on Flare, so you can use Flare to earn yield pretty easily. I mean, it was a few steps, but it wasn't too difficult. And I think mine, I deployed like 120 XRP on Flare, I think, and I think it's earning like 7.2% or something like that in the contract I have it in. So you absolutely can. Albert Garcia said, is the stock reserve going down? What's the current circulation? Is the stock reserve going down? Are you referring to like the circulating supply of XRP? Is it going down? So if that's what you're referring to, I can say the circulating supply is not, I mean, it is going down because XRP is burned every day, but nothing substantial. What we are talking about is XRP being locked into supply. So the current the current amount of XRP in circulation has not changed, but what is effectively in the circulating supply has changed because XRP is being removed and locked into ETF Trust. That is not XRP that is available for sale. So yes, in the grand scheme of things, the circulating supply is going down. Lisa Burton, so do we think we are now going straight back up to 235? It's going to depend. So the reason for, let me do a recap actually, Lisa. Let me get everyone caught up who came in late and do a recap for everyone, so everyone can be on the same page. And again, keep the chat going. I appreciate every single one of you being here today. If someone could let me know how many people are in the stream, I'd really appreciate it. I haven't even got to the bottom of the chat yet, so let me get caught up here and save this so I don't forget Lisa. There we go. So I've got that one saved. So let's hop in and do a recap for you guys. So we were talking about price today. This is the 1 week chart. Yesterday, we were talking about how we needed to push through EMA 9 on the 1 week chart with volume and then stay above it. We've done that. On the 1 hour chart, which is more about today, right? So the 1 week chart's more about the overall move. The 1 hour chart's kind of more about our day-to-day moves. So we talked yesterday during stream that once we pass 220, we could expect a pullback and a retest of 220. We did exactly that to the T. Came all the way back to 220, got a nice bounce, and now we are coming back to retest EMA. So what we need to do is the next challenge, if you will, to answer your question, is we need to come up and we're going to retest EMA. We're probably going to meet that around 230, 229, 230. Okay. So if we can bust through EMA 9 with volume, okay, if you can bust through EMA 9 with volume and then test and hold it, then we'll go to 235. Okay. So we're looking, next level is going to be straight to 229, I think, based on this analysis. So 229, if we break it, hold it, then 235, so on, so forth. Again, in order for us to have a chance at a real breakout, we got to push through 270 with some volume, and that 290 to 320 area that I think we'll get to by the end of the month. But that 290 to 320 area, that's where the most selling pressure is. That's where we had the big sell-off, okay? That's where our biggest challenge is going to be if we can continue this thing further to another level. We covered ETF inflows today. We covered every single ETF. We had, 18 million XRP removed from circulating supply into ETFs effectively today. And then we talked about the overall market. For the day, everything's choppy. For the week, everything's up. Okay. I know we're down. This follows the last 24 hours when it looks at the day. Okay. So for the day, everything is choppy, but for the week, the entire crypto market is up. XRP is up 19.3% for the week. The rally continues. My opinion, not financial advice. So we covered all the ETFs. We covered, I thought we were in the screen view. My bad. We covered all the ETFs. What is going on with this thing? This thing's all messed up. There we go. So we covered all the ETFs and we covered the chart. We covered Twitter. And again, if you guys want to follow me on X, it is Longview Crypto. And we talked about the potential. If we're going to talk about the base cases and the steps and how far this can potentially go, then we really, really need to pay attention to what could happen on the other end of it. Okay. So if there is to be a breakout God candle type scenario, this is tracking extremely close to gold. Okay. So if we got our breakout above this wedge, that did happen. That is real. He was showing at 235, and then we actually just came down and tested 220. So if this bounces and continues, it opens up this possibility. But again, we have to get through all the noise first. Okay. We have to get through the 270, through the 290, 320 area. Again, you can follow me on X at Longview Crypto. We talked about the fear and greed index. We are now we're well out of the red. We're not in extreme fear anymore like we were in December when we were down to 4s and 6s and 10s when no one wanted to talk about crypto. But if you were buying at that time, you're feeling pretty good right about now. XRP ETFs saw their strongest session yet as buying returns to the market after New Year's. Again, tax rotation, another thing we talked about. Liquidity getting pumped into the market. And then, of course, the entire macroeconomical event with Venezuela and everything going on. We were talking when price was going down in December and all of this buying was happening and all this good news was happening, that we were in a market. Structurally, the price was not reacting to it. The price doesn't react to news like that all the time, guys. It's going to react to structure and the overall flow more than it does anything else, unfortunately. So let's hop back into the chat. Let me see what's going on here. I apologize. Let me get caught up to where we were in the chat. So that answered Lisa's Burton's question. Or are we in for a bumpy ride? I answered that as well. So hopefully that kind of tells you, I mean, it's going to be bumps. We're going to have to test the levels. I mean, it's typical market structure, unless there is some kind of ridiculously breakout God candle. In that sense, I will gladly be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I think it's going to play out. Kenny Stallone said Vanguard opened the door buying ETFs on December 2nd. I know that they opened the door for that on December 2nd, Kenny, but I thought I saw that they made an announcement that they weren't going to allow their people to offer it, or they weren't actually going to start offering it until into Q1. But again, maybe that was they weren't going to have their brokers start handling it. You may have done it online by yourself. I'm not sure how that works because I don't have a Vanguard 401k or anything like that to put it in. So Mr. Johnny said, what time do you usually go live just so I can set a reminder? So if you guys are finding the stream, I go live Monday through Friday at noon Central Standard Time. And then one day every other week I'll be late because I have an appointment and it's usually on a Wednesday, but I'm not going to ask you guys to remember all that. But Monday through Friday, I always stream at noon. And then sometimes on Saturdays, I'll stream at noon if I'm not putting out a video, because I had, for those of you who are new, I had multiple strokes a couple years ago. So I'm at the mercy of how my head is feeling that day. So, I mean, some of you may notice, one side of my face moves differently than my other when I'm talking and things like that. And that's why. Let's see here. Let me find where we were in the chat. Raul said, let's talk about silver. Okay, so quite a few people want to bring up silver. I'll start working that in. I'll start working in silver to the stream then. If you guys, I'll touch on it as well. Because I am of my, my investing mindset is of the debasement trade. Meaning fiat currency is going to crap. It's all about assets and then cash flow producing assets. Cash is trash. And over the last 5 years, the dollar has been devalued by over 25%. And again, none of this is financial advice. This is my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor yet. Working on it. I am working on my Series 65 to become a licensed financial advisor, but I do not have it yet. But gold, silver, deflationary assets. Used to be Bitcoin. I have cycled out of Bitcoin, XRP, other precious metals, copper, land, right? Water rights. I mean, I don't own all of those things, but real estate, things there are fixed amounts of, or deflationary like XRP that burns XRP. And then riskier things would be more future-based investments, at least for me, would be like AI, alternative energy, not even necessarily solar, just alternative energy, things like that. Because I do believe that money is all about solving problems. The bigger problem you solve, the more money you make. That's why I like XRP. Solves a very big problem in money. That's why I'm all about alternative energy, right? The AI is not going anywhere. AI is here for the long haul. It's here to stay. That being the case, we're going to be in a very big energy crisis in the future. My opinion, not financial advice, but that's how I look at these things. So I'm investing a lot in alternative energy because I believe that's going to be a problem. Those are my riskier plays. XRP was a riskier play for me, but I believed in the problem it solved. That's how I determine risk on investment. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. So I'll start working in more stuff for you guys. Let me know what you think. Crypto Roger says, sorry if I missed it, but what is the 37 thing on your thumbnail? So the $37 thing, Crypto Roger, I put on the thumbnail is because I feel like I always come on here and I'm kind of peeing in people's Cheerios. I'm crushing the hopes and dreams. So I also wanted to show what another leg of this could look like. If I'm going to show you guys the base case scenarios and the bear case scenarios and the slower, more realistic route of it, I also wanted to show you everyone what the opposite end of that could potentially look like based on technical analysis. And based on the technical analysis and chart analysis and those things. Oh gosh, what's the pattern recognition? That's the thing I was looking for. Based on chart analysis, pattern recognition, those things, that's where that $37 comes from. I showed it on X there. Hopefully you saw it, but that's where that number came from. So it is a possibility, highly unlikely, but a possibility. Bridge Mackin says noise. Shh. Okay. Mr. Johnny, do you think bank adoption will be a catalyst that will finally break XRP away from Bitcoin? I think payment volume on Ledger is what's going to start breaking it away, right? So like we follow the account set transactions, right? Because let me pull this up for you. If you're new, you may not know. So we follow the account set transactions. This is XRP scan. If you own XRP, everyone should have this bookmarked, okay? But so you can see payments, you can see account deletions, you can see everything. But if we look at specific detail, if we look at account set activity, okay? So this is ramping up new accounts, credentials, permissions, account, on and off ramps, things like that, getting accounts set up. If you look at the account set activity on Ledger for the last 2 months, it is more than the entire history of the Ledger combined. What does this mean? It means institutional onboarding. We can't guarantee it, but that's the only thing this level of sustained account set activity can be, is institutional onboarding. I feel confident in saying that, and I'm not a hype person. So once this starts translating to this payment volume, then we should start seeing, as a result of payment volume, an increase in XRP. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but that is utility-based movement. That would not be market structure-based movement. I think that's how we see a decoupling from Bitcoin. It would have to move in its own way for a reason. And I believe we will see it play out on the ledger before the price actually moves. My opinion, not financial advice, but again, that's what I'm tracking. So let's get into the rest of the chat here. Hopefully that answers your question. And he also, Mr. Johnny also asked, do I think Clarity Act will pass the Senate this month? That's the rumor. Again, we have to wait for it to happen, but multiple senators are coming out saying that it's going to be on Trump's desk by the end of the month. What was it? Senator Tim Scott, I think it was, said he expected it to be done in a matter of days, which they're scheduled to meet on the 9th and talk about it. So we'll see what happens. But I would say it's a 50-50 chance if it's done this month. I would say it's a coin flip. I do think it's going to be done by Q1 at least. My opinion. 43 people in the stream. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it. Yeshua said, so you don't believe in time travel? I mean, I can't say I do. I wish it did. I would love to go back to 2009, please. Send me back. Send me back to 2009. Let me do it all over again. Sir Charles said, would it also take XRP 3 years to make the possible run, or would it happen faster? So he's referring to the $37 that I have in there. And real quickly, before I get into this, let me pull this back up here for you. But before I get into this too much, again, this is for fun, not financial purposes. If you're just now joining the stream or you came in late, I was talking about we were going to retest 220, and then we need to push past 235, hold 235. That opens up 270. And then our real test is going to be 290 to 320. And my expectation is we test that sometime by the end of this month. But my point was, if I am going to show you guys technical analysis and step-by-steps, we also need to be prepared for what a real breakout could look like. So this is a picture of gold. If you look at this pattern, this setup, right, the 4 to 5 points. So the way pattern analysis goes with a lot of these is they move in 5 points. Okay. So he broke down this 5-point gold structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then usually you would have a sell-off after. So who knows how high this will go, but then usually there's a sell-off after, and then he'll do another 5-point thing, if that makes any kind of sense. So he's comparing it to gold. And if it makes the same move with its 5-point setup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if it makes the same move, it brings it up to $37. And again, this is just for fun, but it is what a real breakout, like a real parabolic breakout would look like. And it shows that this is over the course of 2024 to now 2026. So this would be over the course of 1 to 2 years that it would see that kind of move. Again, not financial advice, but that's how gold moves. So if we were to get an appreciation like gold with this rapid appreciation, it would put us at a $37 XRP roughly within 1 to 2 years. That is where the $37 comes from. That is what a breakout really looks like. Could it go higher? Yes. Could there be FOMO? Could there be utility? Could there be other things to drive that price higher? Absolutely. There could be just as many things to keep it from getting there too. So know what you hold, do your research, come up with your own opinion. We're here to have fun, but I'm also here to give you the truth. Okay. Resident says, I like this channel because it's grounded, no clickbait or hopium, good news and discussions. That's, that's the goal, Resident. I want to build a real community that's here to last, just like I'm here for the long view with my investments, right? With XRP, silver, Hedera, Chainlink, all the others. Just like I'm here for the long view for my investments, I'm here for the long view with this channel, right? The goal is to build a community and a mindset to grow wealth over time that is going to last. I'm not here to sell you clickbait titles and make a quick buck off this channel. I'm here to build something that's going to last. If 10 years down the road, I look back and I have a YouTube channel with, a one or 2 million subscribers, and I've helped dozens or hundreds or however many people understand and get into crypto and change their life that they may not have earlier, then that's a win to me. That's why I'm here, truthfully. Now, I will be monetizing the channel eventually, but it's not necessarily to make money off you guys, but I do have to build a job for myself. But it's more so here to grow crypto because I believe in it and I'm passionate about it, and I think a lot of people can make a lot of money in it. And not even just that, but just the mindset of delayed gratification and investing and building real generational wealth and putting yourself ahead. That starts so much younger. I wish people started doing it when they were 18, 20 years old. I wish I started doing it when I was 18, 20 years old. I didn't get to it till I was about 35, but I'm still earlier than a lot of people. So I want to make a change. That's why I'm here. Hopefully that works out, Resident, but that's a long-winded answer to your question. That's why I'm here. Mr. Johnny says, yeah, I agree. One of the best grounded channels out there. Well, if you guys appreciate it, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, share it far and wide. Let's grow it, because unfortunately, without clickbait titles and clickbait energy, it's harder to grow because less people click on it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can get it growing out there. Please like, subscribe, share the content if you can. I appreciate every single one of you. We've been through the whole chat. We've done the recap. We've answered every question. Let's keep it growing. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. We've retested before I get off here. Let's just hop into this real quick for anyone who's still left. We've retested 220 and we're now at 224.5 and pushing back towards the EMA. Again, we'll probably retest EMA 9 right around 229, 230. We need to cover that with some volume and then push past 235 for the next leg of this, okay? So keep that in mind as things unfold throughout the day. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. All right? See you guys at noon tomorrow. Later.